Hey guys, it's Al, um, and I have an interesting uh, download to report. Since I work in the communications office of the Divine, please help me welcome the arrival of Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Azrael, as well as the rise of Christ consciousness, Metatron. I have to get the list because they made me write it down. Metatron, Christ, the Buddha, Confucius, Saint Germain, Mary Magdalene, Virgin Mary, John the Baptist, Paul the Apostle, and his mediumship, Joan of Arc, and he who led the Protestant Revolution, which is for her as acknowledgement. Like I said, it was an interesting download. The way that it was explained to me is that we live in a predominantly religious organization type of mindset. And so in order for it to be comprehensive and something that everyone could comprehend, I should say, the conscious states that are descending to meet the people who are ascending, that are in right alignment, are energies that existed in other forms, so to help transition those in their department, for better words. I am to remind everyone to be in grace and to not worry, and to point out a couple of interesting facts. For example, it should not be a surprise to those of us in conscious state still that have not fallen to sleep yet, those that are awakened, to see that of all of the places getting ravaged by the virus, Italy is taking the strongest hit. You see, when you represent the office of God, Allah, or whoever, and you do it in falsity or in child molestation and not right align yourself with things, not to be the judge and jury on this one, but to just tell you the way that it was explained, then your house will get cleaned, unquote. The virus itself has parallels to what is happening. It attaches itself to your lungs and coats it in a phlegm-like substance, as though you are apparently almost suffocating, but with like a liquid. The interesting part is that the way that it was explained to me is because this is a spiritual realignment starting from the inside out. You are being unclogged throughout your chakras, and the way that you interact with the world and see it affects the way that you breathe the air and the particles that create the environment around you. If you find it toxic and are toxic, then you attract that energy. But if you are of light and produce light as a beacon, then you receive light and beacon. Many of you kept asking why I was getting so dark. You see, the way to kill the infection is to put it in direct light of the sun. Sometimes being in alignment with the divine has its benefits. I don't know what happens today because I am out in the world living, because I am fighting for the quest to live life. And though I don't have the money to pay for my hotel room to beyond noon today, I apparently am waiting for my partner. I don't know how long it takes to get from South Carolina to here, or North Carolina, I'm not sure which of the two. But I have not now, nor have I ever, held any ill will towards my partner. Just because it didn't work out the first time doesn't mean that my heart does not see the future of now with you, honey, if it is indeed you. I do not worry about what happens next, because it's just an illusion. It's just a realignment of the universal consciousness. And so I was to talk to you in terms of biblical reference, because it's so predominant in the world. But in truth, you are still you, elders. You are still you, encompassing a different consciousness, a step up. You are not going to lose yourself in this transition. You're just going to find yourself. You have always been Mary Magdalene, or you have always been Michael, or Gabriel. It does not change. It's just remembering. Everyone on the planet, remember, is being offered the ability to step up to the plate and align yourself with the divine. And for many people on the planet, that is a religious context that we're trying to shake. Because you must be in just spiritual center in order to move forward. Time is spiraling, and so things are connecting to each other. And sometimes the best way to do that is to refer back to what is already known in terms of logic. And one of the things that most people respond well to is the idea of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Where there is war, there is peace. Where there is famine, there is spirituality. Famine is to keep everything. It's like someone who hoards all of things. But to provide hope is the opposing energy to famine. It's to provide sustenance of some kind, in this term, spiritual. After all, war in this scenario has reigned supreme, and so now the peace that's dominating is going to be spiritual, and that ties in with the famine. In order to be greedy, you must covet what you should not be coveting. And so in place of it, you will get love instead of greed. See that? And where there's death, there is nothing but rebirth. Do not fear the transition. It's just a realignment. If you are afraid of it, then it attaches itself to you. It is the same air you breathed before. It is the same. It's just fear dominating the senses and then actually affecting your manifestation onto your lungs. For those of you who have been spiritually ascending, you have been fighting through this as you ascended. Most of you either have a cold or severe headaches from the third eye, or crown chakra related issues, or your solar plexus with the butterflies that randomly spark. Because you have been cocooning and you are now emerging as the evolved version of yourself. Michael, Azrael, and Raphael, you know where to find me. I'm here to noon tomorrow, although I'm told that I'm supposed to get some more rest now. And elders, you're not losing anything, you're gaining your memory. You have not done this just once before. You have done this in Atlantis. You have done this in anywhere there's been a reset, that we have gaps of time. You have been present. So just tap back into that energy. You are protected beyond protected. And many of you will now come into union to raise the vibration of the planet. And they will be masters that you become union with. This is needed at this time in order for us to enter Aquarius, a spiritual time that meets technology and advancements that we have never seen before. But the planet must get people out that would derive pleasure from destruction of what's meant to be. It is not unheard of for a patriarchal system suffocating like the virus up here, afraid to let go, to spread the fear throughout the land. It is just an illusion. You only can get it if you agree to it. You must be afraid of it for it to enter your space. It's still the air you've been breathing. This virus has been airborne. That's why everything is shut down. So if you are going to get it, you should have already been in. That's why we're quarantined for 2 to 3 weeks, is because you are already exposed. They just didn't tell you. And so in order to not panic anyone, because there's no reason to panic, it's not going to affect most of the population. It will affect hypocrisy and patriarchal structures that cannot align itself with the future. You see, when you have done wrong, you live in fear of judgment. But if you do right, then what are you afraid of? Are you not fighting for your life? Then why are you hiding away in a house? You have already been exposed to it, so either way, everyone goes to judgment. So I'm a little confused as to what's happening on the external. The reason I was meant to bring up the arrival of the superconsciousness energies that are descending is because they've already been here. Again, they are one in the same. Them stepping forward in their full power does not mean that they were not watching the planet. And remember what I channeled yesterday, or was it the day before? We have seen enough. We have seen enough. Do not be afraid of something that will not touch you. The majority of humanity is good, quality, high energy people. You have made it through the swamps for a very long time, under war, which now steps in Michael as peace. You have been under famine, feeling lack, and feeling like a lack mentality, and so now you get spirituality through Gabriel, who sounded the horn quite well, I think. Raphael, and greed now provides nothing but love to humanity, and you have been under the suppression of death, and now you get rebirth. It's a switch. Everything is upside down. Just long enough for everybody to wake up and right align themselves. They want me to end there. To my baby, I can't wait to see you. Our world just creates so much harmony that you have no idea. And now that I've been shown exactly, and I understand why that the trepidation about approaching me, there is a little bit of age difference, but that does not matter. When you show up at the door, I can promise you that you will only experience love. Take the leap. I'm out of here, I guess, at noon, since I don't have 140 freaking dollars. I know the Divine's like, I got this. I'm like, yeah, you've said that before, but I don't have $140. So I don't know how that magically is going to happen, but you know where I'm at, bae. And to the other two, I've already met you. We know who each other is. And in friendship, we will ride again. But there's nothing to be afraid of. This is not fear. This is just a switch, a mindset. In love and light, be well. Many of you are asleep already. So those of you who are led to this, you are meant to see this. For those of you who are awake, I posted the last video around right before 2. And I was told specifically to stop by 2. And then I proceeded to dance my little ass off. So I'm assuming that's like a dry run of raising the vibration. So you might have found yourself like just partying, like what? And just dancing and having a good old time. And one of you's in the studio and somewhere, LA. And probably did something really ridiculous and fun. And it's just, there is beauty and pleasure in everything. Find your center. It unclogs everything, so there's nothing for this to attach to. It's called sunlight. See the tan? Yes, I have a big zit. I'm willing to take the zit over what's going on. Be safe, be at peace, and let the divine guide you to your abundance. It's already inside. This is just a manifestation. Love you all.